Everybody's doing
Probably
stuff.
right.
I can't say that I blame him, honestly, but anyway.
It's Memorial Day.
Yeah. Only we had Garrick doing quality holding on his end.
Hey,
Even though
I'm
the tunnel
nursing a
didn't
burnt butthole, okay? That food had my ass on fire for half an hour.
Be honest, Garrick, it wasn't the food, it wasn't the Louisiana cooking, it's the fact you bleached it. for your
You
lover.
shut your mouth, sir. I know what it was.
You know who it was. What was his name?
Yeah. Certainly not J Fry. He's getting no loving.
No, I've got no concurrent viewers.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Oh, I'm not there. Hold on.
I'm not there, but
Are we-
then again, I'm driving.
Are we live?
Yeah. According to this,
Wow.
we are.
There we go. Now we're live.
And good start. Let's do those. We're just going to have another dead air stream,
Pretty much.
which means Jay's mic cut out right as we went live.
Yep.
Perfect start.
Yep.
Well, kick us off. Shit, Sean.
Well, hang on. He'll be right back. This is his gig.
In the meantime, everyone, enjoy the dead air.
Welcome to Jay Fry's
Yeah.
Poorly Reviewed Books.
Volume 2.
No,
Number
volume-
something. Volume 2.
That too.
All right. Am I back?
You are
Yeah.
back.
You're back.
What? What bullshit. God damn it. Welcome to Anecdotal Arguments, number 2, something number 2. I am your host, Jay Fry, and with me, as usual, is holding down the fort of the not talking while somebody else is missing from the stream. How's it going, Sean?
Good. You know, I got a shtick. I got to stick with it.
I'm leveraging it for all it's worth, baby. And we got Garrick in the background. Garrick.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
All right, okay, he's done. Mute him. And Josh is with us as well.
Hi. Jay Fry's mad at me.
What? Why am I? No, I'm butthurt. Completely different. Unlike Garrick's butthurt, which is dude
All the
different.
time.
It's
So, hell, I don't get it. Why do you guys eat Chipotle? I had notes on what I wanted to talk about, except I forgot to write them. So
it's
not so
the
much
normal-
notes. Basically, I thought about writing notes, and it is the thought that counts. Well, one of the things I did want to talk about, since I have a certain number of dedicated viewers, and one of them is English. The other two, I don't know what they are. And the fourth one's gay. Have you guys seen? Did you watch Sargon's video, perchance, on Dominic Cumming?
No.
I've watched several of them.
He had 2 today, and one of them was like 2 minutes, so shouldn't be that hard. But that, like, I thought we had like an adversarial press. This bitch was going after Dominic. Like, you drove a car. Don't you think you should resign? Don't you think you should step down? like, holy shit! Listen here, bitch. No. But he did the right thing, like hosting the press conference for as long as he did and airing those attacks. I felt for the guy, and I don't even know what side he's on. I'm assuming since he's one of Boris Johnson's guys, he's...
They say he's the architect
English.
of Brexit.
Yeah. So was Hitler. He seemed like as far as like the fuck off reasons that you can break quarantine the mayor of Chicago, who I don't know when it wasn't Rob Emanuel, but
Oh, it's that Sam Cassell looking chick.
who?
Sam
We could also
Cassell.
talk about the
'Cause it
governor of
didn't-
Illinois too.
Because it didn't sound like you said Beetlejuice, but I have seen Beetlejuice.
Well, no, Beetlejuice is also an apt description. I was going
her
with Sam
and
Cassell.
her and that bitch from Florida who does the voting. Like they're both Beetlejuice and looking black women. That is a woman, right?
Yes. We're going to go with yes.
I went to go
I don't know.
with another from another world.
Well, you got to be careful who you're talking about, because if we go up to Pennsylvania, it's a more apt description of whatever's up there doing state health department. But
Mentally ill.
yeah, he felt he was coming down with COVID, which is completely understandable. Johnson did have it, and he's been in close talks with Johnson. Allegedly, Johnson had it, so I don't really trust England's health system, but so it was going around the office, so to speak. He took his kids and his wife, and he self-quarantined. He dropped them off at his parents. Now the parents were 250 miles away, but he didn't freaking go out there and have a party. He went there, dropped the kids off, came home the next day. In isolation. One stop for gas. As far as I'm concerned, gas is fucking essential. If the place was open to get gas, it's an essential service. But to show how little they care about him actually breaking quarantine, they surround his house in mass, unmass, and harass the ENMASSE.
In mass.
All mass.
And
Mass. Whatever.
well done.
Yeah.
I will turn this podcast around right now. I swear to God. And
Do it.
they,
I dare you.
oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you? The fine, crash and burn. See if Sean cares. You see how much he puts into naming these things.
As little effort as possible.
I like the banner though. That's nice. The title card.
Yeah,
It's very Fox Newsy.
it is. It's completely ripped off, but it is.
Was they ripped
nice.
off from Fox News?
No, I did not get it from Fox News.
It's very Fox Newsy. They attack him just in. I would say there was a plethora of attacks, and I personally didn't care for it to see somebody being attacked like that, and especially in such a coordinated effort by these this media bullies that they were. But absolutely not in. They're gonna call him out for doing things that are unessential, and a freaking van pulls up with a giant screen to play videos insulting to Dominic Cummings and Boris Johnson. It's like, you fucking people have no idea what you're doing.
Well, the thing that gets me is he's not the only high-profile English citizen to have busted their lockdown rules, if that's in fact what he did. There was the guy who came up with the study that said that 2 million Americans were going to die of COVID. You know, the guy who came up with the algorithm that did the forecasting for the COVID. That guy,
The same guy who's responsible for the $10 billion hit that England took during foot and mouth. Hoof and mouth.
Yeah, this guy, not only did he proffer up ridiculously busted forecasting, he also broke quarantine to go have relations with his...
affair with a married woman, yeah.
Yeah, she's married. I don't know if he is, but she is married and boning down with this dude. And they just get a pass. They get a pass for wrecking the world economy. They get a pass for an adulterous affair. They get a pass for everything. But God forbid Dominic Cummings go and take his family to his parents. Now,
What I see as a legitimate purpose
Well, yes, but if you think that you're infected, why would you put your family into a car and then drive them? I would put the wife in the car and the kids in the car and say, "See you when I see you."
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, that's my only caveat with the whole thing. I'm like, I don't begrudge what he did. What he did was, let's say his wife is not licensed driver. Okay, that's what you have to do. But here in America, where the women folk can drive, you just shoo them off on their own.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know how long they're Londoners, but if they're lifelong Londoners, there's a pretty good chance she does have a license.
I'm making an assumption that she does.
Yeah, would be an assumption. I don't care for the double standard, and I recently saw a post about a completely different double standard about being pro life and pro death penalty from some TikTok bimbo. And I'm like, those things aren't mutually exclusive, you fucking bag of dicks. I want them to have the ability to have a life. And when you take somebody's life, I want you to be punished for it in the most severe way possible. It's the same both ways.
Can't say I disagree. I mean, you're taking away potential either way, and it's arguable that the person that you're taking the life from in the case of the death penalty has forfeited that potential, whereas the innocent that doesn't get a chance hasn't. That's more egregious in my book.
Yeah, I want them to have the opportunity.
Yes,
you forfeit the opportunity when you do that. Kill somebody. Now, I want to pull this up. There's a post going around on Facebook. Am I still here?
You're here.
You're here.
Checking, making sure I'm still here. I gotta find the. There we go. All right, so the post was from Stephen Berryman. I don't know who that is, and I don't fucking care. One of the most dangerous ideas that has come about in the last 3 years is that all points of view are equally valid, and that the average citizen, you, are just as equipped to judge which have merit as anyone else. Hear all sides and judge for yourself. No, I do not condone the death of expertise, and nor should you, is the statement this guy makes. I am an expert in very, very few things, but in those areas, my expertise is hard-earned through study, work, experience, and aptitude. None of it comes from attending Google University. But unless you are an expert in exactly the same area, your opinion is not just as valid as mine. It's not. And an opinion is not as valid as experts in other fields. That is why they are the experts. So in our leading epidemiologist largely agrees that A is correct, and a couple of discredited doctors make a video that says B is correct. Our response should not be, I'll listen to both and decide which makes sense to me. Confirmation bias exists, and only fools think they are free of it. To paraphrase Asimov, your ignorance is not the same as their experience.
He just made his own argument against him.
Yes, he did, but that's it's not done yet. Genuinely smart people look for answers from people who are smarter than themselves. Only ignorant people believe their guess is as good as anyone else's. That's the end of his statement. Aside from the fact there's a whole fucking fallacy built around this.
Yeah,
he does contradict himself.
He does. He's like, confirmation bias exists. You have a confirmation bias for people who agree with you.
Yeah.
And those would be the people you consider to be experts. You're not willing to hear any counter arguments because you think you know better. It's the exact same argument.
And who discredited these other medical doctors? Was it medical doctors, or was it the media who doesn't have their expertise? And
well,
aside from
in the case of the first two doctors, it's a little of both.
Which ones are you talking about?
The two from California.
The two practicing physicians that own clinics in California? They've been
Yes.
discredited?
Their local medical board, actually, there's some ongoing complaints about them. Their business is supposedly struggling, and
They said that in their video.
right, but there's going to be no practicing medical practitioner that doesn't have complaints against them. They will all have complaints against them. There is no such thing as a practicing medical practitioner that does not have some sort of case against them.
And that's just it. They're medical practitioners. What they do is called a medical practice. When they screw up, it's called a malpractice. Because it's not science. They get things wrong all the time, which is actually what science does. They get shit wrong until they get shit wrong the exact way every single time. That's science. When the results come out consistently, no matter what the situation, that's science. Healthcare, medical shit is not science.
Well, it is. It uses the scientific method.
It attempts to use the scientific method, but it is not. It is as much an art as it is a science, which makes it not a goddamn science.
Well, that's the other thing too. These science worshippers, like, you got to trust the science. You got to trust the science. Yeah, the hypotheses are always put forth, tested, and then disproved. And if they haven't been disproved, then they're still just a working hypothesis.
Yeah. Equals MC squared. Prove it.
So when you're in a medical practice, you've got to throw a bunch of shit against the wall and see what sticks. Quite literally, that's part of the scientific method. Throw a bunch of shit at the
germs
wall.
by switching the time we bury people. That's literally how we discovered germs in the first place. We bury people in the morning, operated on people in the afternoon. Most of the people died. But if you operated them in the morning and buried them in the afternoon, more people lived. So, after we're done talking about this, Sean, I want you to go over the meteorologist who changed the way we view continental drift.
I'll definitely do that. That's one of my favorite stories.
Okay, good. After we're done, I want you to tell this story and the experts who shat all over him. The thing about an expertise is you have an expertise in a field to the detriment of all other fields. If your focus is on the Dodgers 82 World Series win, or 83 or whatever, you end up not knowing shit about cricket because your focus is on a specific field and you know every detail about that season or that one game or whatever it is. You know every single detail about it. What you don't know? Macroeconomics, microeconomics, the world stage. Anything to do with anything that is not regarding that field, you are not the expert. So while staying inside for 6 months will stop COVID from spreading, you're not taking into account the damage to the immune system of every person who was healthy that you've now made to stay inside for those 6 months.
Yep.
So, yeah, you need more than one expert in one field to make the world go around. That's why the government is made up of citizens and not fucking experts. But who do they talk to? They talk to the experts. Now,
who's scraping their plate?
Hmm?
Who's scraping their plate?
Sean.
Who do you think? Not me. I don't eat on stream. I don't know who you're talking about.
One of those lies.
All right, so you want me to give you a very pertinent and prime example of experts being completely wrong?
Also, throw a brief in there as well. No, take your time. I don't care. I don't got much else to talk about.
Have you all noticed how the coast of South America and the coast of West Africa look awfully similar?
Like puzzle pieces?
Yeah, like they fit together.
I have noticed that. I own a map.
Interesting, because back in the early 20th century, there was a Scottish.
Now, what years of the 20th century? Is that the 1600s?
No, that would be the 1900s.
Wait, like the last century?
The last century, yes.
Okay, go on.
This actually is after. Well, yeah, no. This theory was put forth after we started flying mechanically. So after the Wright brothers did their thing, this theory came.
Kitty Hawk Beach in 1906.
It bothers me that you had to add mechanically in there.
Yeah. Well,
like when we were just flying the fuck around, waving our arms.
People have jumped off cliffs for eons, and they fly for a very short period of time. And I don't want to take that accomplishment away from them.
Oh, no, I feel bad for laughing.
So in the 20th century, in the earliest 20th century, a Scottish weatherman, meteorologist, who studies the weather, was in Iceland. He was studying the weather patterns in Iceland, but also noticed the geology of Iceland and how it's built on, well, how it's formed from volcanoes, and there's a lot of volcanic activity in Iceland. So he started looking at maps and started looking at the geology and realized, hey, the coast of South America and the coast of Africa really do seem to fit together really well. So it seems to make sense that with all this volcanic activity, in the place that I currently am, and that feature matchup, plus we know that there are species that share ancient species that also appear on both sides of the Atlantic on those coasts, it would follow that the continents were at one point mashed together and have drifted apart, thus coming up with the theory of continental drift.
And Pangea.
Well, that didn't come about till later. This was just a simple, hey, here's what I've noticed, and this sort of follows and makes a whole lot of sense. He got lambasted by the experts of the day, who were the geologists, who were 100% certain in their expertise that no, the thing that explains how there are similar species on these two continents is that there used to be land bridges that span the entirety of the Atlantic Ocean. And that is how those species migrated from one continent to another. And he was ridiculed. He was discredited, to use a term. He was ostracized from the scientific community for coming up with this theory until about 35, 40 years later, when somebody else picked it back up and said, no, this actually makes more sense and is a lot more simple to explain those differences, especially considering the preponderance of evidence that, you know, the coastlines match up, the species match up, there is volcanic activity where there shouldn't be. This makes more sense geologically than what the experts of 30 years prior were 100% certain they knew.
And to be clear, in that same time period, they were literally drilling holes in people's brains to relieve headaches.
Which actually works.
Oh, your head doesn't stop hurting though.
No, but the pressure does get relieved. It's not the best method, but it is a method.
And we're also talking about where there was X-ray machines on every single corner. It was fantastic.
So the other problem is you get
human cells.
you get to the astrophysicist conundrum, where astrophysicists thinks they are the king of all scientific method and all science, and therefore experts in literally everything that is scientific, and have no problem, you know, pontificating upon their on high ivory tower.
So
As a matter,
what you're saying is they overestimate their self-importance preponderance.
they're overly confident in their expertise and command of the scientific method. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson actually got hit with that a couple of years ago and has stayed in his lane much more so since, because somebody called his shit for, you're an astrophysicist. Why don't you just do astrophysics? Leave the rest of it to other people.
Yeah. Quit mouthing off every January 1st.
Because he is. He is a brilliant astrophysicist. Cannot take that away from the guy. I mean, he's no Stephen Hawking, but he's a few cards shy of Carl
He's able
Sagan.
to walk and talk.
Well, he's got that on him, I guess.
He's got that on Hawking.
His smooth dance moves, yeah. Like you came up with string theory. I tie my own shoelaces. Who wins? Yeah, I understand. Like you can, we all have a buddy who's probably a freaking entomologist by now, who is a brilliant bastard. So whenever he says something, I have a tendency to believe him unless he's talking to me. Then I kind of like, hey, I think you're full of shit right now. I think you're allowing me to believe you, but you're not actually telling the truth. Yeah, but other than that, he could convince me all sorts of shit because he's a brilliant motherfucker. But
so what you're saying is, Jay Fry, is you believe in this individual's confidence.
Well, his confidence, but he is. I believe in him.
Well, not literally met, but we've talked with the individual. Yes, he's quite brilliant.
Yes. But I can still throat punch him out the back of his own neck pretty easily. He's only an expert in so many things before I wring the little fucker's neck. But he has, because of what he does, he has a wide variety of knowledge, and then it goes to very specific things. But we'll talk about things just very similar to his topic, and us being more layman than regular people, will inadvertently ask him a question about a category of bug, which is a general term, that he is unfamiliar with, so he really can't speak to the matter because that's not his expertise, so he doesn't know it. There are failings in expertise all the time. I really do not trust somebody who hasn't been a practicing doctor in 40 years.
Yeah, there's a difference. The difference is often described as the difference between book smart and street smart. Sometimes that's book smart and common sense. There's a lot of people that are really intelligent and really book smart, but have zero common sense or deductive ability outside of analyzing the books. So as long as theory is correct, they are more than likely correct and very good at what they do. The problem is that when it hits the really real world, sometimes that data doesn't jive.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes somebody's trying to pull one over on you. And they never catch the people that are trying to pull one over them because they have no street smarts or common sense.
Yeah. It's like experts in a field. Lawyers will use experts. And when I say that, I mean they will use experts. They will take somebody who is solidly in their field, who has an idea that they're pushing forward, such as in the early 1980s, there was an archaeologist who believed that raptors were basically birds. Most dinosaurs had the same skeletal structure as birds, and their prime example of that was a raptor and the raptor's skull or skeletal structure versus that of modern day chickens and turkeys. And Later, now 40 years later, it's proven to be more accurate. But at the time, it was a revolutionary concept that was blowing people's minds, and the idea that birds had feathers. When we knew that dinosaurs had feathers, when we knew that certain dinosaurs, like the Archaeopteryx, was found in fossil with fucking feathers.
Yeah, but it was argued whether or not it was a dinosaur. That was the argument for that one. They're like, yeah, we can't deny that this has feathers, but is it a dinosaur or is it just a prehistoric bird?
The Archaeopteryx was bigger than a goddamn velociraptor. At the time.
size isn't.
Utah raptor,
Okay, so you get down to the classifications of animal life, and birds are not reptiles. Therefore, they made the assumption that the dinosaurs were reptilian, and birds were avians. Well, even though there are other flying animals other than birds, but birds are its own classification, much like mammals, reptiles, amphibians, and invertebrates. I think that's how it breaks down. Because not invertebrates, but anyway, of the vertebrae, there are birds, mammals, reptiles, and amphibians. Yeah. So in that classification system, the argument was, well, this has feathers, but is it a bird or is it a reptile? Because reptiles, by definition, don't have feathers. Birds do. So that was the argument with that particular one. If I try to say the name, I'll slaughter it, so I'm not gonna.
Archaeopteryx.
Thank you. But yeah, now the scientific field of paleontology is more leaning towards there are a lot of dinosaurs that probably were befeathered rather than having reptilian skin.
Yes.
But it's taken 50 years to get there.
I want to say his name was Dr. Bird. But
that would be hilarious.
He's in the book. The kid has it's the book the kid's dragging around with Dr. Grant. I can't think of it though. Anyway, he a few years after Jurassic Park was made, and the raptors were much more rideable in size as opposed to being turkey size, they found the Utah raptor, which was much more in line with the raptors from Jurassic Park. But yeah, experts, they love nothing more than to argue. I had a conversation the other day about unloaded magazines and how useless they are or aren't, and you're a piece of shit if you have empty magazines. Where there are schools of martial combat in the pistol arena that say try practice reloading magazines, and there are schools that say there's no use in having an empty magazine. Any expert you have, there are experts that contradict that are just as accredited. And occasionally you do have Dr. Daniel Jackson, who is a fucking crackpot, who says that aliens came down and taught the Egyptians how to talk. Whatever the fuck Stargate's thing was. But I think all experts agree that you train astronauts to drill, you don't train drillers to astronaut. Fuck you, Michael Bay.
Jay,
What?
was this really just all to circle around and talk about that shitty concealed carry Facebook group?
Maybe. All I got to talk to you about it. Pissed me off.
It would make more sense to me that if you're going to practice magazine swaps, it would be better to do it at weight, which means you can either get an empty weighted magazine to practice with, or you load the magazine.
No, I'm fitting square peg and square hole, which is different than fitting heavy peg and heavy hole. Like literally, you can practice by sitting on the couch watching TV and dropping a mag and shoving it back in while not looking at it. Like you're just requiring muscle memory, and it doesn't matter if it's 1 pound or 4 pounds. that
Question,
the muscle
though.
memory is. Huh?
Question though, how is a hole heavy?
It's raw, so there is a tangibility to it. Ask your butt. The but if you don't have
Topical insult is topical.
Oh shit!
Uh,
Thank
the
you, Jay. A good laugh.
but the point is, like they were like,
Better.
no, I'm butthurt again. The so they wanted to attack me over saying, well, I don't have empty mags. And I'm like, well, then you're not practicing enough at the range to have broken the feed lips on enough magazines to require needing more magazines to replace your old magazines. Like, I can play this bullshit game too. Like, for every school of thought there's an opposing school of thought to this. You know, like everyone says the best fighting rifle is the AR-15. No, it really isn't. It's not even a killing round for deer in most states, and you're bigger than a deer. However, like if you're going to get into a gunfight in goddamn Montana, you probably want a deer rifle. Not even with a detachable magazine. A 5-shot deer rifle at 500 yards is going to serve you better than a 5.56 at the same distance. Yeah, you have 30 rounds, but they're not coming close to the motherfucker.
Yeah, to be fair though, it's not the caliber that makes it an awesome fighting rifle. It's everything else about it. It's lightweight and it's pretty modular. So.
Oh, it's modular is all hell. Yeah, I completely agree with it. I own several because they're awesome, and for the most part, if I had to go out and maraud, it would be with an AR. But if I'm standing a post and there's cars coming to the posts, I'm gonna go AK minimum, more probably towards a 308.
I was gonna say it's 308 all the way or nothing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would agree with 308 minimum. But there are other choices of guns out there. Like 50 cal will fuck up somebody's day from a mile and a half away. Good luck with transporting it there in the first place. But yeah, anything you can say, there's going to be someone with 30 years of experience that will contradict it. And that's just between gun experts.
Well, it also comes down to personal preference and practice. It's the practice that where the rub seems to lie in most of these disputes. It's like, well, this is what I've practiced with, this is what I've practiced on, and here's what I've found. Okay, I'm going to take your word for it over somebody who's like, well, this is what I've studied. Okay, but have you applied that study? Well, no.
Yeah.
It's what I'm doing now is I'm applying my study. But you're going to get it wrong because you have no practice.
And vice versa, it's the same as well. Yeah, okay, you're a trained Army soldier. Did you fight in combat? Okay. You fought in combat. In a city or in the jungle? In the city, okay. What is your expertise going to lend itself to a Montana prairie? Oh, you have no experience out there. So maybe if I'm on a fucking prairie fighting the Ingalls family, I will look to somebody who's more hunter based and has long range capabilities. For every one expert you have, there is another person somewhere else that's gonna argue completely differently. Alaska, for example, will call your 45 a sissy pistol for stopping power purposes because they need to kill fucking bears, and not like the little cute black ones that you can like stab to death in a knife fight or lose to in a wrestling match and get fined a bunch. But the fuckers that will rape your dead body and eat you.
Yeah. So what Jay's referring to there is I saw a tweet earlier where
Was this not on a stream? Was this
No,
before?
it wasn't on stream.
Well,
We were just talking beforehand.
so much for that throwback.
Yeah. There was a tweet that said, Czech man arrested in Poland and fined $7,500 for wrestling a bear at the Polish. It's Czech and Pole, so it's either a Czech at the Poland Zoo or a Pole
If
at the
it's a
Czech
pole at
Zoo.
the Czech Zoo, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah,
30 years of my humor suggest it was a pole at the Czech Zoo.
Either way, he was fined $7,500 for wrestling a bear, but he wasn't fined for wrestling the bear. He was fined because he wasn't wearing a mask because it was breaking COVID-19 protocols.
Wow. Just, jeez.
Was there anybody within 6 feet of him besides the bear?
I think they were all social distanced far enough away that it was pretty much him and the bear. Gonna go out on a limb there.
Yeah. Like, I don't even think the ref was in the ring. Yeah. Like if it has Alaskan in the title of your bullet, say goodbye to your wrists.
Hey, I'll carry my lever gun. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, you can talk shit to the Alaskans with your 4570.
My
Okay.
antiquated cartridge, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That
I mean,
still
it's-
killed the
there's-
African Big Six.
I was gonna say there's a huge difference between 4570 and a 45 ACP.
Yeah. Very big difference.
Substantial, one might call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They I don't know, man. It's just experts are experts, and I give them all credit for their expertise. But
Yes, you should listen to them. You should take what they have to say seriously. That does not mean you have to kowtow to it. They are not the priestly classes exclusive in knowledge. They just have more knowledge than you do on any given subject, but might not be weighing all the options as you see them. Yes, they have validity, but that does not mean they are the end-all be-all when it comes to the conclusion.
mm-hmm.
And if you don't have enough confidence in your own ability to weigh the own factors as it applies to you, the problem isn't with the experts or you not listening to them. The problem is you.
And being an expert in a field isn't necessarily universal. If you are an expert in economics in New York City, that is completely different than being an expert in economics, again, in fucking Montana. There's a whole different driving force and factors. You are the number one car seller, fucking whatever, in New York City. You're gonna find out that there's a lot less of a need for town cars in farm country.
You better learn how to sell the F-150.
Yeah, I mean, it's 1500s and 150 or 250s minimum all day long. But different places require different handling. America, like, people don't understand, fucking huge. We have everything here. You want mountainous terrain? We got that in spades. We got the Rockies on one coast. We got the Appalachian towards the other coast. We've got random mountains in random ass states. The Porcupine Mountain in Michigan, in the UP, never not covered in snow. We've got deserts in the Southwest, swamps.
Everything.
Huh? Yeah, we got everything.
We got a rainforest, too.
Yeah.
Really? Where?
Swamps in the
Washington, Oregon, and
Oh, yeah.
Alaska. That's actually a rainforest. It just happens to be
Not tropical.
not tropical, yeah.
Yeah.
It is classified as a rainforest.
I was arguing about what the fuck was it? It was fjords versus it was just water inlets versus water inlets in seas, water inlets for in lakes, water inlets versus in rivers, and it's like fuck, what was the what's an atoll again? like like
Chain of islands.
that's archipelago. The atoll is circular.
So it's the top of a mountain, almost completely submerged.
Yeah. Archipelagos are like a series chain.
So is Hawaii an archipelago, or is it a archipelago, or is it a? No, I guess it would be an archipelago.
Yeah, because atoll's circle. Yeah, and it's a mountain range, so yeah, it's archipelago. But yeah, and it's the and there's a different term for it, whether or not you're covered in water. You know, it's mountain. No, it's an archipelago. No, that's a fucking mountain. I swear to God, just a bunch of water on top of it.
Right. Well, and then that begs the argument: what is the actual tallest mountain in the world? And people will say Everest, but that's it. Where are you starting your measurement from? Because Kilauea is actually larger if you measure it from its base. It just happens to be submerged.
I saw this stupid fucking tweet from I don't remember who it was from, but it was talking about the ignorance of Jack from the Titanic, saying he was on top of the world while literally being at sea level. And I was like, that's a little too pedantic for my taste, but I appreciate you.
That was what we call a metaphor.
Like, you know how much it bothers me that he's fucking saying at sea level?
Well, to be fair, he was, 12 decks up?
Oh, yeah, that's a fucking big ship. I mean, don't get me wrong.
That's tiny compared to the new ones.
I know.
Oh, yeah, there's a thing on YouTube, because everything is YouTube, but it compares all sorts of different things like that you wouldn't normally see next to each other. So like in one, it's like all land creatures basically, and so there's like a lion next to a tiger, and next to a liger and a taigan, and they're fucking taigans are huge, by the way. But one of them was ships. And shockingly close to the beginning was the Titanic, and compared to some of these other big bastards. Like, holy shit. And then they're like the fictional ones too.
Like Royal Caribbean's Allure of the Seas, which I think is the largest cruise liner right now, is bigger than some Caribbean islands that people live on.
Like, you don't understand how big the USS Enterprise is until you see it next. I can't even think of what it was next to. But point is, that thing's fucking huge. Not I think compared to the Romulan ships, but it's much bigger than you think. But it's an interesting channel. It was just size comparisons, and they had one on deaths. Like what causes deaths per year, and hippos are dicks.
Yes. There is probably no more dangerous creature than the hippo.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if like dogs caused more deaths, but that's a numbers game.
Yeah, as I say, there's a hell lot more dogs.
Yeah. But no, fucking hippos. Fucking dicks, man.
Don't swim in the Nile.
Yeah.
Nope. Hippos and crocs, man.
Oh, the Nile. Nile's got everything.
Yeah.
They got crocs, they got alligators, and they got caimans. and river monitors. The point is, it'll fuck you up.
Yep.
Yeah, Trav, you are completely right. The Allure of the Seas is fucking gargantuan. They run zip lines between the two sides inside the ship.
What?
Yes, it is fucking huge. Google it when you get a chance. It is insanely large.
Allure?
Yeah, Allure.
I was just wondering if it was a pun, like a lure.
No, it's allure, as in the tempting of.
Like, we're going to get you out to sea. We're going to use a lure.
Yeah, not a fishing
Yeah,
lure.
I won't fucking... No, I'm not going on a giant fucking boat. I've seen Deep Rising.
I've been on a couple, and I've been on some mid-sized ones that you can definitely feel the ocean, and you can feel that you're on a boat, on a ship, I should say. And it's still like being in a fucking skyscraper. Don't get me wrong. This mid-sized ship is still a moderate-sized skyscraper, where you can still feel the ocean. And I've been on monster ships that you wouldn't know you're at sea at all.
Yeah, there's nothing appealing to me about a skyscraper that can sink.
Technically, all of them can sink.
Yeah, I mean, not skyscraper. But, I mean, you put it in the water, it's not
Have
going to
you
do
not
well.
seen The Day After Tomorrow?
You know what? I did, and I saw it like the week before I saw An Inconvenient Truth, and I'm like, is this the goddamn opening to Day After Tomorrow? I went back, and I started watching The Day After Tomorrow, and I'm like, this is the same freaking opening! They stole the opening from Day After Tomorrow! Speaking of, when was it? When did Inconvenient Truth come out? Because I'm pretty sure all of their predictions, none of them came to pass.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Miami to sink. And it'll be the first to go.
Well, that or New Orleans.
Well, yeah, New Orleans will probably go because it's actually below sea level, but,
Oh yeah.
you know, we gave it a try.
Just do me a
once.
favor, Christians.
It's,
When New Orleans goes, don't mention the gays. Because Bourbon Street pretty much survived. The gay corridor survived pretty well after Katrina.
The Red District.
The Red District. Yeah. There's places around it that got hit bad.
Yeah. That was mostly the Ninth Ward that got fucked, so. You know, government housing, that's just how it goes.
Why does a carrier have a mast, Trav? I mean, it's not, I don't believe you that a 50-foot wave did damage to a carrier. It totally will, but I'm curious as to why there was a mast. ...2006 is when that movie came out, Jay.
I don't know. So 12 years would be 2018.
Yeah. Again, this goes back to those prediction modelings for worst-case scenarios that never seem to happen.
But there was a hockey stick, man.
Mm-hmm. I remember the well, two things.
The very short hockey stick.
I was alive when they were predicting an ice age, so
My dad talked about the Ice Age, the coming Ice Age. Nimoy freaking narrated a video about the coming Ice Age.
Yep. He also was in a music video about a little hobbit, too.
Bilbo?
Bilbo Baggins.
What was it, the happiest hobbit of them all?
Yes. Yes, he was. If you're out there in the chat and you've never seen this, go watch it. It is the most campy 60s thing you will see next to the Batman show from the 1960s.
Yes. Well, it was Leonard Nimoy trying to break away from the role of Spock and start a pop singing career.
Yeah.
That's weird. I don't have anything in chat.
How do you not have anything in chat? Mike and Steven and Trav are all going.
I don't even have us active.
Yeah, they're making the rounds, man.
And yeah, Trav, that makes sense.
I've got a message. I've got a message from Wolfie saying, when you say live in 15, is that like hours? And that was 24 minutes ago.
I don't
So
even
I'm
see
thinking. No, it was a tweet. So I'm thinking that I sent the wrong link or something. Because I just refreshed and it's still waiting for Liberative.
I'm showing I have no concurrent viewers too, so are we?
I'm seeing 5, and you've been streaming for 55 minutes.
Okay. I mean, I'm seeing the chat and everything, but it's just like YouTube is not reporting like it normally reports. So I want to make sure that it's actually out there.
Okay, I just refreshed the new one, and it has us in a very different position. I've got 5 streamers streaming for 55 minutes, and I'm waiting for chat to load now.
Okay. Well, it is a holiday, and I'm sure people are YouTubing it up.
There we go. There's all these people talking.
Plus, I guess Sinatra's
I thought no one was here.
Is Sinatra live too?
I think he's doing recording a D&D.
Oh, okay. Neo had mentioned that he was going to do a video today too. I have not seen notification of that one at all.
Same here. Ford's mass is built differently than Nimitz. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Oh, look at all this people talking. So I might have sent out a dead freaking link to a different thing because mine.
Wolfie?
Yeah, because I sent out the one that said anecdotal arguments number 2 something.
Oh yeah.
That
one died, and I had to recreate it.
Yeah. So I sent out a link to a Wolfie is no clue what's going on. She's he thinks she's somewhere else, just complaining about it.
Send her the right one so that she can join us, and then yeah, I don't know what else to say.
I see download, so I'm assuming Mike's here somewhere.
Although they know who I am, they know how to get to my channel, so they should be able to find it. One would think, but people are lazy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Steven's saying he had to find it live manually, so you did send out a dead link.
That's right.
That explains why the numbers are so low.
Yeah, that and it's us.
Oh, I resemble that remark. All right, what do we got? What else we got? We pandered to the English with the Dominic Cummings story. We shat on the Gun Collective.
So I know you guys have opinions. So what do your guys' take on the most recent Tim Pool stuff?
As far as
I haven't been paying attention, to be honest.
Like him calling Alex Jones a liar?
Well, that and him going hard after the Democrats, him basically coming clean as fuck the Democrats, fuck the left.
Yeah, I still think he's a giant douche for taking was it Alex Jones's money or Paul Watson's money and going to investigate rape gangs and taking his girlfriend with him. Was that Cernovich money? Whose money was that?
That was Watson's money, I believe.
Oh, Watson's money? Yeah, and going to invest Swedish rape gangs and bringing a woman with him. Like, you're fucking retarded.
Well, I mean, if you want to get a good story, you bring bait.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shitty
You're
thing to do.
you're currently dating, though.
Well, it's a good way to get rid of him. Although, isn't she still the one that is his producer?
Is she the one with all that that equity and whatever that fucking channel is that his brother's crying about?
Yeah, that they're no longer using.
Yeah, I don't care for Tim Pool, like at all. He's not my cup of tea. There's something to be said like Lincoln with his I defeat my enemies by making them my friends. Sometimes I just want to hit a leftist. Like, I don't need to transform them to the right. I want to hit them with a right.
It's more fun to hit them with a left. They don't see it coming.
Just they're fucking evil, and I don't feel the need to pretend that they're not. Which is funny because they've been doing that to us for a decade. Like we are about to hit Trump's second term, and they've been doing it since before Obama. There's, if you don't vote for this guy, you're a racist. If you don't vote for her, you're a sexist. Apparently, if you don't vote for Joe Biden, you're not black.
Can we call him Joe Obama? I kind of like the name Joe Obama.
I do too. That's kind of oddly clever.
He's a clean, articulate fella. You know, we got that going for us. Just fuck him. Fuck the Democrats. I have not seen anything in the past at least 4 years where if they accuse the right of doing something, it is guaranteed they're doing it, no matter what it is.
Yeah, they always accuse you of what they themselves are and are doing.
Yes.
So if they're coming down on you for something, you could be almost 100% guaranteed that that is exactly what they are planning to do or are doing.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me a little worried. If Alex Jones go leftist and starts accusing people of stuff, then I'm going to start getting worried. Like transracial robotics is going to really put a damper in my 9mm stack. It's going to fuck me up a little bit. So yeah, Nancy Pelosi fucking die in a fire. That'd be so funny. Like I don't even care anymore.
I don't want her to go out with that much attention. I just want her to disappear. Like just die. Just fade away. Just nothing that could be talked about, nothing anything. She's just, oh, Nancy's gone. Okay, yay. We're better off.
No, I literally want her to choke on her dentures at a State of the Union.
That would be hilarious.
Yes. While she's chewing on them, being a bitch, and thinking about how funny it'll be to pre-tear the State of the Union so she can tear it better when the cameras are on her.
Yeah, I think it would be absolutely hilarious if Pence had to save her life.
Pence knows better than to hug a woman on camera. Anybody got anything else?
It would all be Crenshaw. Crenshaw would do it.
Crenshaw and the brave jihadi who took his eye. That guy can fucking little nephew Turk can go fuck himself as well.
So what's the over-under on the November election at this point, do you think?
I will be reminding every motherfucker what the Democrats have done to this country. Like, they want to blame it on Trump when there is not a single Republican state that is still quarantining at the same level as the New York, California. Florida is one of the harder hit ones, and they're opening back up. And they still have less damage to them than Louisiana and Michigan did. What's Louisiana's governor, Garrick?
Edwards. John Bell Edwards.
John Bell. Democrat or Republican?
Oh, Democrat.
Of course it is.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
it's because the two city centers in Louisiana will lean that way.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
There's not
What,
enough
Baton
people out in the
Rouge?
swamp to counteract them.
What, Baton Rouge and Nolans?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Nolans?
Nolans. Chocolate City.
So I have been intentionally not wearing a face mask anywhere.
Yeah.
Just waiting for somebody to say something.
Just don't go to Staten Island. You'll be run out of the grocery store.
Yeah, I want to because I've got my response ready to go.
Is it my body, my choice?
It absolutely is my body, my choice.
I also like fuck your feelings, bro.
Yeah, fuck your feelings. Fuck your laws, bro. Unfortunately, I will have to wear one tomorrow as I travel. Not too plussed about
What?
that.
What do you mean?
I am required to wear one on the plane.
Oh, okay. All right. On the plane. I was like,
And I'm not.
So you try-
I'm getting conflicting stories about whether or not Sky Harbor is requiring them or not. But I know that the airline absolutely does. So we're going to see how that plays out. And my connections through DFW. Not too worried about DFW. Pretty sure I can be maskless at DFW, but I'm not sure about Cleveland's airport.
as long as you're not cutting hair.
I guess.
You know what really bothers me about the COVID coverage is last week, sometime during last week, an Amazon worker died of COVID. And it tried to make its rounds as much as possible. And it's like you realize that means that's the first Amazon worker that died of COVID. Because we haven't heard of it yet, and they're making such a big deal out of it, it's clearly the first. Why is it that the only sectors being hit by the COVID virus, the COVID-19, it's like the AIDS to HIV, so it's COVID, not the novel coronavirus that we're addressing, is slaughterhouses and apparently Amazon. Like, what other industry is getting hit? Fucking none.
Yep.
I don't have reports of any large numbers of dwellings besides for nursing homes, which people are putting sick people in. The shim in charge of Pennsylvania literally put sick people in nursing homes and pulled out their own grandparent and sent them to another freaking state to stay in a hotel.
Jesus.
Like, you know what you're doing? You're fucking killing people.
Where is the British press on that one? Because that would be interesting.
Yeah. You should resign. You're awful.
Well, I mean, that's what Cuomo did, and he's, more popular than ever because the press doesn't tell.
And what the fuck is Cuomo doing delivering a live Memorial Day speech on Twitter? Is that who they're going to replace Biden with next month? Well, wait, no. June, July, August. August is when they'll replace Biden. So 2 months. Yeah, 3 months.
Well, and because it's Memorial Day and most people, mostly it's known for putting flags on every single grave in Arlington and most other cemeteries across this land for fallen heroes.
Which is an insane number, by the way. It is an arduous task that requires insane amounts of logistics and support.
Right. But how much more socially distanced can you get than going down a row of separated graves and placing flags?
Exactly. All those motherfuckers are 6 feet down. That's social distance.
But we can't do that, but you can go to Walmart.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a piece of plexiglass between you and the cashier, but you're touching the same keypad everyone else is touching. Like,
Right. Well, there's also a study that came out that said that vectoring on objects isn't really the main attack vector. It's not that it's not zero, but it's not a primary infection vector.
let's give it up for skin. Yeah,
Yeah.
skin is what keeps it down to just being your openings, such as your mucous membranes and eyeballs and your mouth, which and hands. Let's give hand to your mouth as well. Pretty much fucks up everything you put inside it. Unless you're gay and there's a bloody dick, you're pretty solid. Even then, you're still pretty solid.
And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and head to bed.
Well, good night, sir.
On a happy note, I see how it is.
Well,
Emergency bunk session for Josh.
yeah. Well, Josh is.
Was that fresh in my mind?
So, have a good night. And Sean, enjoy your vacation.
Thank you, sir.
And Garrick, well, you're just Garrick. So, J. Fry, I will talk to you later.
Me.
Take care, brother.
Later.
Later.
Night, Josh. Now that asshole is gone.
Huh?
You guys want to talk about Rogan and
The deal?
Yeah.
Deal with Rogan? Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good move. I think that there's some partial truth to what Alex Jones claimed, but I don't think Joe Rogan wants that to be the talking point. So that's why he had him shut it all down. But I think it's a good move, and I laud it. He's going to lose viewership, but he's going to bring more than he loses. And Spotify will come out the winner. And if there's an alternative video platform to YouTube, that's what we've all been clamoring for. I don't trust them to not censor, but I do trust them to not censor Joe like YouTube is going to censor Joe. And I think most of this decision was made when he said to YouTube, hey, I want to bring on dissenting doctors. And YouTube told him unequivocally that will not be allowed.
Well, supposedly that's not even a true statement. That was just something that that Jones had said. So what do you think is actually true?
I believe that's true.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's true. I'm
sure they didn't say it to Joe, but somebody called on Joe's behalf to YouTube to say, "Hey, we're going to put on these doctors. We want to know if you're going to kick us off of you're going to turn it off."
Are you going to
we'll turn it off.
See, now he called into Tim Pool while he was doing his podcast, and according to Tim, he said that has never been an issue. He always just does the show. Now, he called ahead for Alex Jones, and they monetized it, which is an interesting little development back in his last appearance on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Well, it doesn't work both ways then. Either he hasn't ever done it, or he does do it on occasion when it's controversial.
Right, when he knows it's somebody that's going to be controversial, which I don't know if the doctors would have qualified at the time. I mean, did he know they were being...
Yeah, it was a week ago, so absolutely he knew. So if we know for a fact that he called prior to having Alex Jones show on, which is the #1 rated podcast on YouTube, on the Joe Rogan podcast, the Joe Rogan Experience, it is the #1 most viewed show of the #1 most popular podcast in the world. The most popular...
Is it the most popular podcast in the world?
It is. It is #1 on YouTube and is #1 on iTunes and has been with a bullet for a long time.
Yeah, but there's like 1.4 billion Chinese people. And they're communists. There's got to be something that's getting watched by all the commies.
Maybe. I don't know. I just know that, maybe not the world, but certainly the Western world, it is the biggest podcast.
He is not the biggest YouTuber, but he has one of the most popularly watched live streams consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's a big deal. He is a big
on this platform.
deal.
Yeah.
He's a big deal on iTunes. He's a big deal on YouTube.
Spotify? Clearly.
He's going to be the biggest thing on Spotify. He's going to be the only thing on Spotify at first, apparently, but he will be the biggest thing on Spotify as well. And that's after he's shed viewers from YouTube and iTunes, because there will be people that will not go to Spotify to follow him.
Well, and I am kind of curious about Spotify and their new broadcasting system as far as video. I wonder how well it's going to interface. If it's going to be user friendly like YouTube, or you think they're going to have some technical difficulties getting off the ground?
Worst case scenario, at first you're going to have to download a specific viewer, but we all did that for Netflix.
Yeah, that's
Silver Studios.
Yeah, you're going to be able to go to the Spotify website just like you go to YouTube's website, and you'll be able to get it. I'm not too worried about the technical issues. They'll have those worked out by September, if they don't already have them worked out, which they probably do. But back to my point is that if we can say for certain, and we can, that Joe Rogan pre-warned YouTube that he was going to have persona non grata Alex Jones on his podcast, and are they going to pull it? And the answer was no, we are not going to pull it. As a matter of fact, we'll monetize it. Okay, that is already counter to YouTube's stated policy when it comes to Alex Jones. And we know that there was a pre-plan with collaboration between the Joe Rogan Experience and YouTube for that particular episode. So it stands to reason that when Joe said, I want to bring on these doctors that have a dissenting opinion, are you going to pull this video? YouTube came back and said, yes, we are going to pull that video. And that's when Joe Rogan said, I can't say that he was obviously already in negotiations with Spotify. That might
YouTube.
This might be the catalyst that said, yeah, let me go ahead and ink that contract. Because if YouTube's going to start doing that shit, I don't want no part of it. And I'm going to take my business and what I want to do and evolve it somewhere else.
Okay, well, that does have merit. But so this is the two extremes that have popped up, or one's an extreme, one's not really. The extreme that Alex Jones is promulgating, that he is going to war with YouTube. Do you really think that's the case? Or do you think it's just a case of what Tim Pool is saying, which is, look, it was just a good deal, so I decided to take it. Which in either case, I have to agree with him. Either way, he's making the right choice.
It's $100 million. For $100 million, I will slap my mama, and that requires 6 foot of digging.
Okay, and what is the specifics for that $100 million? Does anybody have eyes on the contract?
No. And as a matter of fact, it's all speculation. Every ounce of it is speculation. Now, it's educated speculation, but that doesn't mean that anybody knows the actual numbers.
Okay.
But yes,
that's another thing
it's kind of like venture capitalism. Well, this company is worth $7 billion. Is it really? No. But that's what somebody will pay for it if they get the opportunity to do so. So that's what they're basing this on. If Joe Rogan's going to Spotify, they're going to have to pay him at least $100 million to do so, because it's going to be somewhere between $100 million and $200 million worth of value.
Travis talking shit about 2016 YouTube. I'm like, yeah, I like 2016 YouTube. I prefer 2014 YouTube, when you could link your fucking response to somebody else's video and just talk shit about them.
Oh, that was old school. But no, I'm more. Oh shit! What was I going to say? I'm more curious about the distribution of it, because, like some people are saying, look,
what do you like, lump sum?
The way it's being taken at the moment is that he's just going to get a one-time paycheck of $100 million, and then for services to be rendered. And it's like, no. What's probably going to happen is he's probably got a 2-year contract with Spotify, and he's probably going to get X amount of money this year and an X amount of money the year after, and then he'll have to renew.
Well, it's like a baseball contract. It's exactly
it would be like 6 years, not 2 years, but yeah.
It's exactly like a baseball contract. You're going to get paid $50 million over the life of the contract, which is X amount of years.
Right.
And they're calculating the basis of that on the ad revenue that Joe Rogan generates. So it's not even his show, it's the ad revenue that's attached to his show.
Mm-hmm. And the viewers that he could pull.
And the viewers that he's going to bring with him. And they know 100% he's not bringing up, they know for a fact that he's not bringing 100% of his viewers over.
Yeah. If they're any sort of actual smart people.
But then if you look at his metrics, it is incredibly dependent on who is on. So, like I've looked at, Alex Jones is by far his most popular one. Elon Musk is another hot hitter.
He's the second.
Yeah. Who else has he had? Sam Harris is a pretty big one.
Fuck Sam Harris.
Bernie Sanders.
Steven Crowder's been on. You've got the fucking
Jocko Willink, I think, was another big
what
one
it
for
is.
him.
Weinstein.
Oh yeah,
He's a repeat offender.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Both Weinsteins are repeat offenders on that one. Jordan Peterson's a big one.
Yeah. But I mean, even his just his comedian friends, they don't get as many views, but they do get a substantial amount of views. But that's the thing. It really does depend who he has on, whether somebody's going to watch. And I know that's definitely the case for me.
And the more controversial person that's on, the more viewership he gets.
Not even that. It's recognition. If I recognize the name, I'm probably going to listen to it, or I'm at least going to hold on to it to see if I get around to it. I've had a Dan Crenshaw one and one of the actors, Edward Norton. I've had those two on for months now. I'm probably going to delete them because they just been sitting. No, I never watched them.
Watch the Ed Norton one. I want to see if he's doing Second Battle Alita.
Why don't you watch it?
I don't like Joe Rogan.
All right.
I do.
I have an issue with his comedy.
It's above average.
It's basic as shit.
Yes, but he's still on the old 90s version of comedy where you can say outlandish shit. He's not in the new comedy, which is people just saying virtue signaling stuff and getting applause.
Yeah, but 90s comedy was this weird adaptation of tough guy comedy, and I don't give a fuck about tough guy comedy. I was raised as in magic. I'm a magician. I don't know if I bragged enough about that, but totally got me laid in high school. Just and they towards the mid 90s, they started coming out as tough guy magicians, and it spread to like all sectors. There was tough guy comedians. I'm like, you're literally making me laugh. All right, calm your shit down, Andrew Dice Clay. You're not gonna fuck me up.
Dice filled arenas, dude.
He had to fill what do they fucking call? Basically, he ended up getting quarantined off to Vegas because of feminism. But that's different. Like Eddie Murphy was like, "I'll slap a bitch, but it'd be weird when she gets quiet on me, and then I'll get scared." But tough guy comedians, go fuck yourself.
So
tough guy,
you're not
tough
a
guy
fan
magician.
of the Amazing Jonathan?
Pick a card, or I'll kick your ass. Like, keep
so
Angel.
you're now just dissing the Amazing Jonathan.
No, I'm not.
He was a tough guy magician.
No, he was a tough guy magician to a fucking rabbit and 3 pigeons.
Damn, Steven, I forgot about Adam Conover being on his show. That was annoying. Oh, anyway.
Is that the Ruins Everything, Adam?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck that guy.
Yeah, he was such a fucking cuck.
But yeah, it's he wasn't he's just a big dude with a coke problem. He wasn't an actual tough guy magician. There's nothing intimidating about Amazing Jonathan. He was all oddly carrot top jokes and you got something on your shirt and coke jokes. But yeah, there was just it was a weird period of time.
Well, there was a weird period there where there was crossover magician comics like The Amazing Jonathan.
Doug Henny was fucking great.
Was he a comedian?
Yeah, comedic magician. Yeah, he was fucking great.
And then the guy from
right there, I can't. Yeah, Harry.
I can't think of his last name now.
Anderson.
Harry Anderson. Yeah.
Wait, no, was that Judge Anderson? No, Harry Anderson. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Harry Anderson.
Ricky J, another one. Great magician and kind of funny. Yeah, there are some that do solid comedy, but like fuck you and your like. All right, Steven. Goddamn, what's his name? Stephen Miller, Steven Tyler, Steven. Anyway, I hate music comedians. Fucking hate them with a passion. It's the same thing.
So you don't like Adam Sandler?
Yeah, Adam Sandler's a little different. Like he does comedic songs, but
there are
Bo
failed
Burnham?
magicians that turn to comedy, and that's the
Bo
ones you
Burnham.
hate.
Can't stand Bo Burnham. I think it's Stephen Miller. He does
Owen Benjamin.
Owen Benjamin. But there's other like Victor Silva, amazing. No, Victor Borga.
Victor Borga was hilarious.
Yeah, Victor Silva was a pedophile who did Jeepers Creepers and Powder, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. Fuck. But yeah, Victor Borga, absolutely hilarious. Classically trained pianist, amazing talent. Toured fucking concerts, retired, went into comedy, and was hilarious. It's absolutely great. Like, people don't understand that the guy he has playing second string to him is a literally world-renowned concert pianist who happens to be in that city, and he's like, hey, you want to come do my comedy show with me? We're going to play these 7 songs, memorize them real quick. He's like, memorized? Let's do it. Like, just amazing talent. But, damn it, is it Stephen Miller? I'm going to look him up. He has a fucking...
There's a bar in town that does dueling pianos, and it's kind of the same thing. It's more comedy than it is good music, but it's a good time. But you have to add a liberal amount of alcohol.
Stephen Lynch. All right, I want to see if he has some YouTube videos. Stephen Lynch is dirty as fuck and hilarious, but I still hate goddamn comedian. Musical comedians. He pretends that he is attending his child's in like 2nd grade, and he is doing a magical story time, half hour, whatever. And his songs get progressively worse as he becomes more and more despicable and breaks down as a person. And the first song is talking about his beautiful family, and it gets off, and he ended up cheating on his wife. And then he goes into a song about his friend, whose name is Special Ed, who is retarded, and hit him with a brick to make him retarded. And another song about a beautiful hermaphrodite, and it really goes downhill fast. But they're hilarious, and their songs. But it's like fucking ventriloquism. God damn it. That shit just bothers me. I'm a purist.
You don't like Jeff Durham?
I do like Jeff Dunham, but I don't like any of the other ones.
There's been a few that have been good.
I don't like
Bergen's
Terry
father back in the day. The guy who came up with Charlie McCarthy. What was it? Edward Bergen. Candice Bergen's father. He was actually pretty funny for his day.
I think it's because this is gonna sound so shitty. I am a talented magician. I can blow your mind 6 ways from Sunday with magic that I've literally spent 3 decades training to do. I don't need to be funny. I am impressive. That being said, I'm also goddamn hilarious, but I don't mix the two together because you're not gonna. It's not gonna be as potent magically if you're causing people to laugh and get distracted. And I feel that these people hedge their bets with using both. And Tough Guy is just, it's geisha. There's a routine. It's called the egg bag, and it's you can do it completely clean, and it still comes off as super dirty because at the end of the day, you're taking an egg, you're putting it into a small sack and you're asking them to feel for the egg and verify it. And it's literally like a doctor grabbing your nuts, and there's no way to get around it. It's like you're squeezing a bag to find a lump. And in no way is that not like tearfully funny if done straight. Someone say something?
No, I think we just got a little feedback from Garrick.
Am I still here? So there are things that are absolutely hilarious. Yeah, I mean, humor can be used as misdirection, but there is magic that astounds, which is what you want. You do not want magic that befuddles. And when you add humor to it, it sometimes mixes the two. Amazing Jonathan rarely ever does an entire trick.
That's true.
Like he does one, and it's so fucking obvious, and it has to be this obvious for it to stay with his continuity. Is he does a bill to orange, which he has somebody take a dollar bill out, whatever the denomination is, and that's a rube. That's a family member. It's not an actual real person. Because you get in trouble when you start poking people in the tits and whatnot. And he'll eventually, in like the course of a 9-minute routine, eventually be like, hey, remember that dollar you gave me fucking 41 minutes ago? Yeah, that is now in that orange. We're going to cut it up and we're going to compare the tip I gave you to that particular bill. That it's convoluted, and the only way it works is because you're holding the corner of the bill and it matches perfectly to the other rest of the bill. It's the only way it works. Other than that, he does very few magic tricks. He does Oblivion, which is a beautiful trick, and he does it really well. But other than Oblivion's the one where it's he starts tearing apart paper or whatever, and he makes it disappear, and then he doesn't make it disappear. He makes it snow. And it's I don't know why it's called Oblivion. It should be called like Avalanche or something like that, or Snow Globe or something. But he does very few tricks, and the tricks he does do are so old. And I appreciate that he does them, but they're so old that they're not in use anymore. Like the appearing cards, which are black backed cards on a black velvet curtain. So you can't see that he's literally holding a fucking 35 cards in his hand until he rotates his hand and they're exposed. And then at some point he will ruin the gag by his idiot wife, his partner, who will pick them up and put them against her white dress and show that they're all black or whatever on the back. That's the humor of it. And then he does just stupid shit like turning turtles into rabbits and rabbits into boxes and boxes into fish, and just hilarity. Funny fucking guy, actually decent magician as well. I've seen him perform in person, and he does wonderful effects. Still, it's one or the other. It's not both, and it grinds on me. And that's my soapbox. I'm done for now. Hudson.
I like the Amazing Jonathan. I've always liked him, and I like Harry Anderson.
Oh yeah, I love Harry Anderson. He's another one who does stupid shit. Like, do you remember the poker explanation of how he steals cards in poker, where he has to drop his pants?
I think I do, because he did that one on Saturday Night Live, didn't he?
Yeah, no, maybe like Carson, not Saturday Night Live.
I remember they had him on Saturday Night Live, and he did a very straight magic bit, and everybody was confused because they knew him for being funny.
Okay, maybe no. This one involves a full fucking rig. All right, that it's got harnesses and cables and when he's explaining how the trick is done, he has to drop his pants, attach a cable from his left knee to his right knee, so that when he spreads his knees apart, the cable runs up one arm, up into his shoulders, across the rig that's on his chest, down to his other arm. So at no point can he possibly do it because his pants are on. But the explanation, it's like a Penn and Teller trick where they they do it over.
Technically, they cross that line too between comedy and magic.
Only one of them.
No, they both do. Teller's pretty
No.
funny too.
Teller's fucking straight. Okay.
Well, he's more a purist magician, I'll give you that. But he's also hilarious when he's got good comedic timing, so he does comedy as well.
Teller is so much funnier than Penn. I was lucky enough to be at the Motor City Comic Con. It was like the third one they had, and he picked me to be the one person he talked to, and would say some of the sickest, funniest shit that I'd ever experienced, and just would not stop talking about Vietnamese midget porn like the entire time. And he's like, "No one will believe you." I'm like, you're fucking gas.
One of my favorite memes to use is the one that's you know how somebody will say something pithy and like post a picture of Morgan Freeman and says, "You just read this in my voice." I almost always respond with a picture of Teller that says something else and says, "You have no idea what my voice sounds like." You don't know how to read this in my voice.
He's got a great voice, which is so fucked up. And compared to Penn's wispy, ratchety kind of voice, Penn could have been on radio.
You mean Teller?
He's an excellent voice. Or Teller could have been on radio.
Yes,
and
Teller
it's deeper.
Teller has a DJ's radio voice.
Yeah, he's so smooth, and I'm like, why would you do this? Like, you're so fucked up. Wait, how do you know what he sounds like?
Because I'm a fan, so I watch interviews and would very much like to get up there to see his show and get into the meet and greet afterwards.
Yeah. Just ask him if he like fucking gaslights people at random events.
I'm sure he does. He's the Magician's World version of Bill Murray.
Yeah. You know who I think who had it done to him? There's a comedian named Jay Saki who says a lot of really sick shit, and I think he learned it from Teller because like he's probably like a decade older than I am, and I'm like I think you might have been fucking with Jay Saki in in a previous convention or two. But yeah, most magicians they make their money by going and lecturing at different magic facilities where people train in magic.
That and corporate events, yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, corporate events are great.
Yep.
Best magician I've ever seen, Andre Cole, who literally made most of his money supplying David Copperfield with his tricks.
David Copperfield is a very good showman. He's not a very good magician.
His showmanship is probably top notch.
Much better than Chris Angel.
Yeah, there's sometimes the only thing you can say to a trick is like watch, and it's like you don't want to say that. But Chris Angel's also done he did a throwaway trick that where he put a handkerchief in front of a vending machine and reached in and grabbed a candy bar.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I saw that in a magazine. That was a $6,000 trick. You go fuck yourself. I got a trick with a disappearing hanky. It cost me $6. It's just as amazing. Like, you have no idea what you're doing. Actually, that trick was $11. But I've spent some money. Like, each one of my magic videos are like $40 a piece, and I own probably close to 30 magic cassettes, and that fucking killed me when we went to DVD. There's a lot of talented people out there. Tough guy comedians, not one of them.
So you didn't care for Dennis Leary?
Dennis Leary was an asshole. Like
who,
he
he
wasn't like
who basically ended up stealing Bill Hicks's complete shtick.
well, Bill Hicks fucking disappeared and became Alex Jones, so that's understandable. Somebody had to fill in the void.
Poor fucking Bill Hicks.
But no, he was more like David Tell. They're bigger guys. Like, I mean, they're not huge. They're 5'10" and 6 foot. They're not fucking massive or anything. But I don't give a shit humor. It's like, yeah, I fucking jerked off in the coffee because he wanted some creamer, huh? I'm an asshole.
So
that's fine. But then I shouted at the bitch do the dishes. You know, like you're cowering women. That's it's very masculine of you. You impress me, sir.
Well, and that's why Dice worked, is because he would do that, but he was so over the top and obviously a character that it became popular.
Oh my god. He was a tough guy who sang nursery rhymes dirtily. It's some interesting shit, yeah, sure. But I can't see you being a tough guy after 3 renditions of Old Mother Hubbard.
It worked.
Do you remember his nursery rhymes?
Yeah, I remember his nursery rhymes.
Dirty limericks, basically.
Yeah, little boy blue. He needed the money.
Yeah. What was the one with the spider?
Little Miss Muffet.
What's in the bowl, bitch?
It worked
Him and
at
his
the time.
stupid cigarettes. You know, I'll talk a bunch of shit about Andrew Dice Clay, but he's the reason I own Zippos.
You liked Ford Fairlane then?
Oh, I love Adventures of Ford Fairlane.
It's a good movie. Doesn't really hold up.
Yeah. Terry Thatcher's gorgeous, though. Have you ever seen Creepshow?
It's been a while. Been a long while.
If you guys can, you have the ability to watch Creepshow. Leslie Nielsen is one of the stories, and he plays opposite Ted Danson. Leslie Nielsen plays the part of a killer, a serial killer, and he plays it fucking flawlessly. And it's you forget that Frank fucking Drebin is a classically trained actor who is amazing in all facets of acting, and it's such a good little story for him, and he does an amazing job at it, and he eventually goes completely fucking mad, and it's a beauty to watch.
I have to rewatch that.
Leslie Nielsen, not a tough guy.
Nope.
Hal Holbrook has one in there too. It's also really good. Creepshow is such a great little anthology. Stories by Stephen King, directed by George Romero. Fucking great. 1, 2's a little worse, and then 3 isn't even really 3. 3 is a completely fucking different movie called Tales from the Dark Side.
I like that one.
Featuring one of the Loris bastards.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you get a chance, Creepshow, gold. So good. What was the other story? Creepshow 2 had one with Christian Slater and I think Steve Buscemi. That was another good one. Who was what the fuck is his name? He had a song, and he's absolutely not the voice of a singer. Car 54, where are you?
Oh, Fred Gwynn.
Fred, no.
Herman Munster?
No. He had a song?
He might have. I don't know.
No, Fred Gwynn I fucking love in Pet Sematary, and I think John Lithgow played him decently. I mean, a different character really, because it was also the book Pet Sematary and the movie Pet Sematary, different things. So the two versions of Pet Sematary that we saw, based on the same material, taken off in two different directions, far enough apart. They're I mean, some of the framework was still the same, but he did justice to the part that Fred Wynn did. No, he
Grandpa
talks
Monster?
like, he talks like this.
Hang on a second, I'll look him up because he played Tootie. I think it was Tootie on Car 54. Where are you? Hang on. Car 54. Where are you? Cast.
I wouldn't be surprised if it
Joe
wasn't.
E. Ross.
Is that who I'm thinking of?
He played the guy that was partnered with Fred Gwynn in Car 54.
Joe E. Ross?
Yeah.
No, the remake.
There was a remake of Car 54?
Yes. In 1994.
A film. Oh, is that John Waits?
David
Tom Waits?
It was Officer Gunther. It was David Johansen.
David Johansen.
Yeah, and
American
Johnson
singer, songwriter, and actor, best known as a member of the seminal proto-punk band, the New York Dolls.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Buster Poindexter.
Yeah, dude, I was fucking brain farting like crazy. His partner was John C. McGinley from Scrubs. It was good. That was their version of a straight or a couple. Anyway, yeah, he does one where he's a hitman to kill a cat. Very weird. But no, wait,
Wow.
that was until
actually cast Grandpa Munster in that movie.
What movie?
Car 54. Where are you? The film.
Oh, well, yeah, but from 1950 fucking 5.
Well, he was part of the original cast of Car 54. Where are you? The sitcom back in the 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
And then he and Fred Gwynn went on to do the Munsters right thereafter.
Yep.
Tone Loc was in that movie. Jeremy Piven was in that movie.
Nipsey Russell was in that movie, yeah. I think Penn was in that too.
Fran Drescher.
Penn and Teller were the Luthers.
Yep. I don't think this one I missed. I did not realize that was a thing.
Did you see Dragnet?
Yes.
With Tom Hanks and Dan Aykroyd?
The build up to the punchline with Connie Swain.
The Virgin Connie Swain?
The Virgin Connie Swain until the very end. And me and Connie Swain are going to blah, blah, blah. Wait a minute. I like Tom Hanks as an actor. I cannot think of a thing that Tom Hanks is in that I don't enjoy him in.
Dude, Dungeons and Dragons are Monsters and Mazes.
Even in that steaming dog crap pile, he's still pretty good.
He shit on Wizards of the Coast hard. There's there's stories going around about the the pedophile rings, and a lot of them include Tom Hanks. I'm like, stop it.
Yeah, I hope that's not true.
Don't, not Tom Hanks.
Yeah, no, I don't want that one to be true. I mean, I don't agree with his politics at all, but man, that guy is a hell of an actor. From bosom buddies on, that guy has just been excellent.
Bosom buddies. And that's the thing. I'm like, no, he paid his dues. he was in some shit.
He was in a lot of shit.
Yeah,
The Money Pit. I don't enjoy the Money Pit, but I enjoy him
I love
acting
the
in the Money Pit. I just don't
Just
like
the-
Shelley
yeah.
Long. That's what it boils down to. I do not like Shelley Long.
I'll give that to you. I don't like yeah. him, him on the carpet sinking. Yeah, like Tom Hanks would be like the one like Leslie Nielsen comparison where I'd be like, no,
Yeah.
it's not the same. Like they've got timing, but it's completely different. Like Tom Hanks does some funny stuff. Like that's different than Leslie Nielsen, who doesn't. Leslie Nielsen is so unfunny, it's funny.
Right. He has to
Tom
play.
Hanks is
Yeah.
sometimes funny.
Yeah. Tom Hanks can be charming and funny. Leslie Nielsen he's funny because he's so straight that it's funny.
Yeah. Speaking of, I watched for funsies the 6 Sharknado movies, and in the second Sharknado movie there was several airplane references. Even the pilot was the star of Airplane, and I'm like, man, like people shit on these movies because they are awful, but they're awful in such a good way.
Yeah, they're awful in just the best ways. Did he still have a
Yeah.
drinking problem?
No, but he did address like the meal situation on the plane.
Oh yeah. I love how Lavalantula is basically the last Police Academy movie.
Oh yeah, because the first one had first one really. The second one, not so much. But Leslie Easterbrook, Anne Hooks, and Jabberjaw Jones.
Yeah, and it had Hightower, I think.
No, it did not.
It did not. Okay, but yeah, they even made a Blue Oyster joke or two.
Yeah, it wasn't him though. But yeah,
No, that
yeah,
that was Ralph Garman that made the Blue Oyster joke.
Yeah.
But still, it's hilarious that they made a Blue Oyster joke.
Yeah. But the second one got weird. Like he did this weird accent for like a whole third of the movie. I'm like, what are you fucking doing, Steve Gutenberg? Why are you talking about the side of your mouth?
Doesn't care at this point.
And then there was like a Cocoon reference because they were talking shit about like Florida, and they're like, where did LeBron James go to win a championship? Cleveland, Miami first. Like, when aliens land, where do they land first? Always Florida. And it was the two, like the youngest two people from Cocoon, because Cocoon's 35 years old. I'm like,
Hey, I'm gonna head out, guys. Y'all take it easy, all right?
All right, take care.
But yeah, I mean, it's so good. I wouldn't mind seeing more just atrocious movies like that. With like, I'll sit through shitty CGI if I can have a 227 review done over again, or Sanford and Son with like living Apache helicopters attacking a hood. Just so I can see Lamont and Mr. Jefferson team up with a couple of guests. Yeah, it's fucked up in such the wrong way, but it's still good.
That's the best. Yeah, and Sharknado is much better than the Lavalantula movies, but man, they are just the best call outs that everybody wants to be in because they're so low production and so goddamn campy. And we haven't had.
Oh yeah, and the cameos are insane.
I mean, Dolph
Big
Lundgren
cameos.
is in the last one.
No, he's in
Five.
he's in the
He's in
fifth.
5. Yeah.
But you have fucking Dog the Bounty Hunter in one. Gunner, actual Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the chick from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Bud Bundy was in one. Ann Coulter and Mark Cuban were in one. Mark LaGraff. The entire cast of the frickin' Today Show was in one. Just insane.
We need campy.
Mhm.
Campy is something that we didn't get for about 15 years solid, like in anything. The closest we got were the Wayans brothers spoofs on Scream.
Yeah, and those had Leslie Nielsen. Those had actually good cameos as well.
Yep.
Like, I want to see a cameo better than the Rundown when The Rock is going into a bar and Arnold Schwarzenegger is going out of a bar, and he says, "Good luck." Like, nice cameo, Governor. We've had actually some with Deadpool. Deadpool 2 had Alan Tudyk, Brad Pitt do a cameo.
Barely.
Matt Damon did a cameo. Like the entire X-Men cast did like a really fucking funny
can you
cameo.
call Matt Damon's role a cameo, though? It's really hard to tell it's him.
Oh yeah, well Alan Tudyk too. It's just the voices that you could tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, Matt Damon has done some cameos. He was in European Vacation where he played a singer that just shadowed over Scotty in a song called Scotty Doesn't Know. It's about fucking Scotty's girlfriend. And it's like, all right, like I could like you, Matt Damon. It's too bad you're a douche on everything else. But yeah, it would be great.
Do you like Kevin Smith movies?
Not particularly, and he does a lot of cameos too.
Well, he does, but the Jay and Silent Bob reboot basically just rehashes every single Kevin Smith movie, every View Askew movie, I should say, View Askew movie, because Kevin Smith did other movies that weren't lampooned or had the cast in. Like, I don't think they made too much fun of Cop Out, and they didn't really do anything that was like Red State, or I'm not even sure that they did poke fun at Jersey Girl. But
I did like Yoga Hosers, even though I think it's a little weird, like how sexually exploitive they were of his daughter and Johnny Depp's daughter, and Johnny Depp was in the goddamn movie.
Yeah, they actually
And so
they make fun of that in a little bit in the fact that there's a running gag that they hate that his daughter, who's playing a role in the movie, hates Kevin Smith because he puts his daughter in fucking everything.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's no Sergio Argento, who literally puts his daughter in everything and has nude scenes.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, but it's Sergio Argento. I do want to see her nude, as long as she's not fucking a 15-year-old and killing Anthony Bourdain.
Poor fucking Anthony Bourdain. I still think he was murdered. I don't think he committed suicide.
Is that a dog or?
Yeah, that was my dog. That was my dog.
That's a half-hearted attempt, dog. Keep it up.
Yeah, he thinks I have food. I have no food. But this is the time I normally have food, and he's thinking I have some.
All right, we'll get off here, and maybe we can fight with Steven if he comes on.
Okay, throw up the link.
All right. Maybe it'll be active link. Who knows?
It'd be better than the first one. And if Wolfie's still around, she should join. I haven't talked to Wolfie in forever. She and Mikey should come to DFW.
Hi.
All right. Say when to hit the button.
What's DFW?
Dallas Fort Worth.
Oh. Oh, yeah. All right. When?
All right. Bye.
Goodbye,
everybody.
everybody.